what interactions you need to have with the standing race committee for your invitational?
Yes, there's lots of things that you're going to interact with us. And most of it will be early on when you in your scheduling meeting, you're going to want to talk to, you're going to want to schedule your invitational, and then you're going to want to pick your PRO. So if you need help picking the PRO, the SRC can help you with that, but you might have your one that you really like, and that's the one we'll use. And then you go into whether you're going to use RSIs, or if you're not going to use RSIs, then you need to go to an NOR and a separate sailing instruction. That's just the way that US Sailing has it set up. That's the way people get it all over the country. RSI is a combined one because we use it every day. We use it every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for regular regattas. So we tried to make it easy for the members. So your notice of race is basically, how are you enticing people to come to your event? What are the things they need to know? Where are they going to sleep? Where are they going to put the boats? What time things are, that sort of thing. And then the sailing instruction has to do with things that are on the water. And things that are in the sailing instruction are not repeated from the notice of race. You have 2 pieces of paper at that point. You'll need to let us know how many boats you're expecting, because that's going to tell us what our staffing requirements are, how many boats we need. Do we need safety boats on the water? We do not supply spectator boats or things like that. Or actually, we don't even supply jury boats if you need juries on the water.
How far ahead do you need that, Barbara?
We got all spring to get it done if you have a July event. So it's, I wouldn't wait till the very last minute, but we do have a couple people on the SRC that are very familiar with juries and how to put them together. And they have a list of people that they work with. A lot of what's so nice now is a lot of the juries are done online, on a Zoom call. So it's not going to the room, can be sitting at the snack bar, but not really. But anyway, it's a lot easier than it used to be, and it's not as intimidating as it was. So, you just need to let us know what your needs are per your class organization. What else do I have here? Oh, the other thing you might think of, depending on what kind of event, is whether you need measurement people. So you would have to put out, sort of we're going to have measurement, we're going to do sales, and we're going to do boards, or whatever you decide that you're going to do for the spot check for your class. And the class should help you with identifying what they want measured, if they want anything measured. And then we have some people in our club that are measurers, or international measurers and national measurers. So we could hook you up with someone if you wanted it to be all official, like probably not just your typical frigid digit or oyster roast, but when you get up into the North Americans and continental events, you're going to want to have that sort of thing. If it is the continental and higher, you're going to want to give us a set of your class rules about events. Generally, class rules have events and then measurement for the 2 things. Just so we stay within the rules. We don't want anybody coming down on us, or you, actually more you than us, but because they'll talk to you first. But we want to make sure that we're doing it right. We don't, no egg on anybody's face. I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions?
What are some of the other things that a regatta chair wants to think about in terms of kind of what to communicate to the PRO? I'm thinking things like, length of races. I mean, number of races will probably be in the SI.
Well, those conversations happen when you're getting ready to do your SI and your notice of race. So you're going to talk about how many races, what's the course configuration, what's the drop dead time on Sunday, what's the drop dead time for dinner? Because sometimes if you have a multi-day event and there's a bunch of great people that are there putting out all that food, and we're not in until 6 and the food is very cold when you get there. That doesn't make anybody happy.
Right.
So just the different things that we need to coordinate about timing. Then we'll also, the closer we get to the event, we'll be watching the weather. So if we know it's going to be sort of a light air week, the closer we get, the lighter it gets. Not a good time. We'll be talking about how do we shorten? What are your guidelines to us, the class guidelines to the SRC for canceling or abandoning or things like that, so that we can do it the way the sailors want. The one thing about the race committee is it's a service group. We aim to please.
Yeah.
And we are human, so sometimes there are some mistakes, but we try to make them as minimal as possible.
Yeah. Is it pretty common for PROs, or is it only Steve Podlick that wants to be involved with the with the writing or the finalization of the SI?
The PRO should be involved with it.
Okay.
Unless you're using just our standard stuff, the PRO should be involved with it, because according to the RRS, that is their very first job.
Okay.
It is their responsibility to put the SIs out.
Okay.
It's the OA's responsibility to do your notice of race.
So I think that's really important for, if you're new to running, being a regatta chair, just knowing that SI needs to have the approval of your PRO before you go final with it.
And if you are doing the continental sort of championship, it's also good to run it by your chief judge, just so they're prepared. This is going to be a sticky wicket here. We need to clean this language up. That's that sort of thing.
That's a great point.
Any other questions?
I was going to say, if you're pro and chief judge doesn't want to be involved, you got the wrong people.
Good point.
Barbara, Lisa Marie again. Is there an overall checklist for, again, people who are new and have not done this before, to just go down and say, make sure you go through Kathy's checklist, make sure you fill out the catering checklist, make sure here's the standing race committee items that you need to just walk through and just make sure you're checking the boxes?
I would say no, there's not for the SRC, but there's no reason we can't put it with all the other boxes.
That would be really great. Just so when brand new people come in, we can just say, did you make sure to walk through all of those items and get your information in? Thank you.
Great. Good suggestion, Lisa Marie. And thank you, Barbara, for shaking your head. Yes.
No, it was a good suggestion. Yes, we will do that.
All right. Anything else? Should roll on through.
Can I add one more thing? When I started doing regatta management in '92 with the J24 Worlds at SSA, and one of the reasons that I've actually been sort of successful with it is because your regatta organizer should have an image in their head of what they'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been to lots of regattas, and you remember the ones where the measurement didn't go very well. So and that's usually the first thing that you do when you're going to an away game and there is a measurement, is you have to go through measurement. So knowing the sticky points of events that you've attended will help you will remind you how to put together your event when it comes to SSA. That's all.
And we are very lucky that we have Barbara and the Standing Race Committee. When we have a good, way to do this, that's something that, we don't have to come up as regatta organizers. We don't have to come up with all our own, race committee. That we're very fortunate that basic function of running a regatta is handled by SSA. And, I think we're really good at running invitationals, at least on the water. We've got a great reputation for it. So it's a huge help. And thank you, Barbara, for all the work you do with that.